Hello everyone, welcome to TalentSprint. So in the first session of economics, we shall discuss the introduction to economics. So first, what do you mean by economics? So economics is a word derived from two Greek words. Those are oikos. So first, oikos means household and nomos means to manage. So totally economics can be said as it is the management of household. So it means that how people manage their household with money. So this is called economics. Next, moving on to the next slide. Who is father of economics? Adam Smith is called as father of economics. So why he is considered as father of economics? Because he has given the foremost contribution to economics through his book An Enquiry into the Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nations. He has written this book in the year 1776. Okay, so this is the foremost contribution to economics by the father of economics, Adam Smith. Moving on to the branches of economics. So what are the branches of economics we have? The first is microeconomics and next is macroeconomics. So moving on to microeconomics. So what do you mean by microeconomics? Microeconomics means it is the management of income at the lower levels. It may be by an individual or it may be by a single person or it may be by a household. So that deals with at the lower level income levels. It doesn't include the income of the nation. Okay, so this is called microeconomics. Moving on to the macroeconomics. So macroeconomics deals with the larger aggregate levels of income. That may be an income of nation or it may be income of the two or more countries. It may include unemployment, GDP, that is gross domestic product, national income and so on. So this is a major difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics. So micro means it includes at the lower level or at the basic level, it may be income of the individual, and macro level it deals with the income of the nation. Moving on to the types of economies. So what are the types of economics we have? We have two types of economies, that is first one, open economy. So what do you mean by open economy? Open economy is one in which the foreign trade is almost not restricted. That means there is 100% or at least 90% above the foreign trade is allowed in the country. And moving on to the next type of economy, that is closed economy. So closed economy means foreign trade is almost restricted. That means there is no entry of foreign trade. What do you mean by foreign trade? It includes imports and exports. So in an open economy it is totally not restricted, and in a closed economy it is totally restricted. And the last one is no country is either totally open or totally closed. Okay, there may be examples saying open economy is India, closed economy is North Korea, but no country is either totally open or totally closed. Why? Because no country doesn't have all the resources for all its needs. It has to depend on other countries. It has to import some things. So it cannot restrict all the things or some things also. So that's why no country is totally open or totally closed in the world. Moving on to the types of economic systems. So what are the types of economic systems we have? The first is capitalistic economic system. Next is socialistic economic system, and next is mixed economic system. So now we shall cover them in detail. The first is capitalistic economic system. Okay, so what do you mean by capitalistic economic system? We shall detail the capitalistic economic system. So capitalistic economic system is dominated by the private industrialists. Why private industrialists? Because they are the owners of major companies in the country. They dominate the total country. So such type of example is US. So US is dominated by private industries like Google CEO or Microsoft CEO or Facebook CEO. Whatever the private industrialists say, the country may obey. or the president of the country may obey. Next, the role of the government in capitalistic economic is, it is minimum governance. The name used is laissez-faire of government, minimum governance. So the people of this country also feel the same. Government should involve very less. And moving on to the goal of the capitalistic economic system is profit maximization. What do you mean by profit maximization? So they will produce goods only to make lot of profits. They don't worry about the welfare of the people. Okay, they will produce only those who can afford. Okay, moving on to the next one, the resources ownership. The major resources of the country will be owned by the private people only, not by the government. So the best examples of capitalistic economy is USA and Hong Kong. Okay, so in this the private industrialists dominate and their main goal is to make profits. Welfare of the people is not considered. So that means they will decide what to eat and what not to eat. Okay, so this is capitalistic economic system. Next, moving on to the next economic system, that is socialistic economic system. So it is dominated by government, obviously opposite to capitalistic economic system where the private people play a major role. But in socialistic economic system, the government plays major role, and the role of the government is maximum governance. That means it will involve in day-to-day affairs, everyday affairs. Okay, and moving on to the goal of the socialistic economic system, it is the welfare of the people is the utmost criteria of socialistic economic system. And resources ownership in the socialistic economic system is owned by the government. So major resources are owned by the government. That means there are more public limited companies than private limited companies. Okay, so the best examples of socialistic economic system are Russia and China. Okay, they are the best examples of socialistic economic system where government plays major role and the goal is welfare of the people. Moving on to the next, the last one, the mixed economic system. What do you mean by mixed? That means both capitalistic and socialistic are mixed together to get an economic system, that is mixed economic system. Why we are mixing it? Because there are some advantages and disadvantages in both capitalistic as well as socialistic economic system. So we are taking only the advantages and mixing them of the both and making it as mixed economic system. So mixed economic system is dominated by both government in some areas and private in some areas. Example is India. Like defense, railways are under the government. IT, all those are under private. Yes. Next, moving on to the role of government. So role of the government is need of the hour. That means whenever required, the government interferes. Okay, it is not too less, it is not too high. Okay. Next, goal, welfare of the people along with privatization. Mixed, because it is a mixed economic system. It will mix both capitalistic and socialistic. So welfare of the people is utmost priority, and along with some areas should be privatized so that we get income and there will be growth of the country. Okay. Next is resources ownership. So in some areas government own and in some areas private people own the resources. So the best examples are India and France. They are the best examples of mixed economic system. So this is all for this session. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you.